our next impact lecture session. I would like to introduce the eminent speaker, Mr. Vijay Kumar Shivpuje. Shivpuje sir is an entrepreneur, mentor, patent agent, startup owner, and facilitator. He is the director at Patlex Business Solutions, a knowledge-based process outsourcing firm based at Latur. Patlex Business Solutions is working with industries, startups, researchers, institutes, industry associations, and individuals in domains like patents, trademarks, industrial designs, competitive intelligence, trainings, etc. He is also associated with Startup India Initiative, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India, as a mentor, freelance, New Delhi. He is a honorary advisor with ASSOCHAM, New Delhi. It is for IPR awareness campaigns, intellectual property talent search examination, and IPR policy making. Sir is associated with Mentor of Change at Atal Tinkering Labs, Atal Innovation Mission, Niti Aayog, Government of India. Vijay Kumar sir is a senior consultant at Twitter Law Partners and has specialization in pharmaceutical and biotechnology patents. So here previously has worked as an assistant general manager in intellectual property at my and assistant manager at Glenmark Pharmaceuticals. So welcome sir. Over to you sir. Vijay sir. You can start.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much,
good afternoon,
Kumar sir. Just
Mr.
to confirm.
Shivpuje sir. Good
Yes, sir.
afternoon.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Warm welcome to you. So I request you to please start up with your lecture.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Just to have a quick check. Am I clearly audible to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, Furkan sir, for that warm introduction and welcome. Thank you so much, the management of Rafiq's Zakaria Campus, Maulana Azad Educational Trust, YB Chauhan College of Pharmacy, Honorable Principal Dr. Abubakar sir, the Vice President IIC, SN Mukale sir, the IIC convener Dr. Furkan sir, all the esteemed faculty members at the institution, and dear students. I'm actually Yeah, I'm actually feeling privileged to be part of this particular Impact Lecture series because I have, I would say, very close connection with Aurangabad as a city, and I really love the city. I was there for a couple of years, and one thing about YB Chauhan College of Pharmacy. First of all, congratulations for your NIRF rankings that you have got this year, and you are actually the flag bearer for the entire region as far as the pharmacy education is concerned. To be honest, wherever I go, many times people approach me and ask me rather, are you from YB Chauhan College of Pharmacy? Because I've been connected with the institute, the faculties, many of the, I would say, the students as well, and many of my close friends are from YB Chauhan College of Pharmacy. It's a pleasure for me to be on this virtual platform because I've visited the institute a couple of times. I've been coordinating with lots of faculties and students as such. And so when Furkan sir mentioned about this impact lecture series and we have to do it for the students, I was very much happy to be part of this. So when we are thinking about, also I must thank Dr. Moin actually for taking the setting that pace for the entire session impact lecture series with the innovations that he mentioned about the way the innovations are happening in the pharmaceutical industry specifically. So when we think of innovations, one of the important thing that we have is intellectual property rights, or what we typically call as patents. मुझे याद है 10-15 साल पहले जब कोई किसी को पेटेंट बोलते थे So it was like a really big thing actually, like, happening across the world basically. But now we are in an era wherein there is a lot of awareness, IP awareness. Everyone knows it, how the patent system works. They are working, they are filing the patents for the research, and thanks to the maybe the NRF rankings, the NAC or NB accreditations, or I would say something like IIC that your institution has got. Now there is a lot of awareness. Everyone wants to know what are these patents, how to get them granted, and where is that role of intellectual property rights basically when we think of about the pharmaceutical industry specifically. Uh, Presuming we have most of the students, undergrads and postgraduate students who have joined for this particular session, as well as I can see some of the faculty members as well joining for the session. I'm got it a blend of the things which would be relevant for the students as well as the faculty members, which would help them understand how it actually helps for their career, as well as how it actually helps in terms of growing as an individual, as a professional, as a pharmacist actually. Whether so it's just not about the IP providing you career options basically, but beyond that, IP is something which is really crucial if you want to grow in terms of your careers within R&D. Whatever Moin sir mentioned, in his previous talk, all these things when we think of uh, when we think of innovation, it need to be protected as well. Reason being, if we don't legally protect it, someone else may be in a position to copy it very easily. And that's the reason we need to ensure that we are protecting our inventions. We are also protecting the activities that we are doing, maybe during our masters, undergrad projects, or even research for that sake. एंड स्पेशली लाइक जब हमने फार्मेसी ज्वाइन किया, फर्स्ट ईयर डिप्लोमा या फर्स्ट ईयर बी फार्म में आप लोगों ने जब ज्वाइन किया होगा, दैट्स इज दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम we have been told again and again by our seniors, by our faculties, by our friends, that pharma is a research based industry. यहाँ पे research में बहुत opportunities है, and that is so true. For those industries which are research based, we have got something called patent as an intellectual property right. I'm going to discuss in detail about patents basically because that is the most important type of IP for as far as the pharmaceutical industry is concerned. But let me tell you students, especially if you are doing your undergrad or postgrad, IP career opportunities is also something which is really crucial. You have a lot of opportunities not only in pharma but beyond pharma as well. Once you are an IPR expert, when you are a patent expert, when you are a patent agent basically, that point of time there would be immense opportunities coming to you actually, and not only as far as the careers but even during the entrepreneurship as well. For the faculty members, as we are we recently have this new education policy, and if you look at HEIs, the higher educational institutions, the new education policy for the HEIs, you would understand that the focus has been shifting from teaching to research, and from research now to entrepreneurship and startup. And when we think of all these things, one common thing that is available is intellectual property rights, be it a startup, be it entrepreneurship, be it any kind of activities that we are doing. Intellectual property rights or patent is something which has been really crucial for all these industries as well as academic institutions. With this brief, let me just share my screen and then start with my actual presentation. Just to confirm, is my screen visible?
Yes, it's visible, yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I'm going to speak on role and application of intellectual property rights in pharmacy. That's the topic allotted to me into this online impact lecture series under ISC at YB Chauhan College of Pharmacy in collaboration with MHRD's innovation cell as such. Now, when we think of pharmacy, as I said, pharmacy has been a research-based industry, and we have actually got a lot of innovations or inventions. And in fact, Dr. Moin rightly mentioned about that as well. Now, when we think of this, these rights basically need to be protected as well, and these are protected under something called as a patent. Now, why patents, or what is the significance of patents specifically as far as the innovation ecosystem or invention ecosystem is concerned? A reason being, like for example, we know a drug, the costing required for a drug to be discovered maybe anywhere between 15 to 20,000 crore rupees. And hota kya hai, when we discover a new drug, we spend all that money actually. At that point of time, very next day, someone else would copy that drug and launch actually. Right now, if we don't promote innovation, in that case, innovation stops, innovation halts. And if one industry can't innovate, let us presume during the COVID time, pharmaceutical industry couldn't come up with a drug for the COVID-19 treatment per se, entire world was sitting at home. That's the kind of impact innovation has on our life. Let us also think about other things that we are using, like for example, the telecom industry, the kind of mobile handsets we are using, the kind of, I would say, the kind of amenities or the apps that we have got. If you look at 20 years back, probably the mobile handsets only had two features: SMS and calling, and that's it. Over. Now we won't be in a position to use those kind of mobile handset today, because there is a immense innovation that is happening. We are coming up with newer apps, newer features, and that is making our life so easy basically, right? So all these innovations, because all these innovations also required a lot of cost involved in it. To promote that innovation, we have a system called intellectual property rights. Basically, these are rights. When we say rights, these are legal rights provided by the government. So government of India provides these rights for you. These are exclusive monopoly rights. Matlab kya hai? Like, I'll tell you one example which every one of us can very easily connect to. So we had this movie called Three Idiots. Three Idiots movie mein we have Mr. Funsuk Wangdu, who is an innovator, जो कुछ innovation कर रहा है. And then we have Chatur Ramlingam, his classmate or a friend. Chatur Ramlingam comes down to meet Funsuk Wangdu to get some signatures actually. Why? Because Chatur Ramlingam wants to commercialize few products, but he doesn't have the rights. Who owns the rights? The legal rights are actually with Mr. Funsuk Wangdu, right? So these are monopoly rights. When we say these are monopoly rights, these are the rights which are, I would say, Furkan sir, there is a slight background noise. Can you just check if we can mute that person?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir. So when we think of patent,
requested to put off your mics and cameras.
yeah, thank you so much, Furkan. Now, so when we think of patent rights, and like when we know that these are monopoly rights, so if I have a patent, or any faculty or anyone has a patent, only we can use those rights. Now, what do you mean by we can use those rights and no one else can? That means without our permission, no one would be in a position to commercialize it. But then, does that give us the right to commercialize the product? No. That's why they are also called as, all IP rights are also called as negative rights. Reason being that if I have a patent for a molecule, I think few days back when we filed for one of the patents for discovery, chemistry basically, and the inventors came to me and said, sir, now we have filed the patent, we want to commercialize it. Filing a patent has nothing to do with commercialization basically, because आपका drug getting a patent has nothing to do with commercialization of that product. This understanding need to be like, imbibed, and we need to know this very well. Patent is outrightly different than commercialization. But if I have a patent, only I can commercialize. No one else can commercialize. But if I have to commercialize, that point of time, I'll have to go through the legal route. And what is that legal route? That's what we call as a uh, uh, the so-called clinical studies. If there is a new drug discovered, you'll have to conduct the phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, preclinical phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and then commercialize it. So eventually these are negative rights. That means no one else except my permission can do it. But if I have to do, there is a separate pathway for that. I still remember, I think it was 3 or 4 months back, one of the professors in Sholapur, Maharashtra, he got a patent granted. It's not from pharma, but non-pharma. He was very happy, excited, and he put it on the LinkedIn. I have got a patent granted now. I want someone to commercialize this. Let me tell you, the harsh reality is that it won't be a patent which should be commercialized. मतलब जो patent है उसका commercialization कभी नहीं होगा. It would be your product which would be commercialized. And if your product has commercial value, then only you would get a buyer. In case of Funsuk Wangdu, the product had commercial value. That's why Chatur Ramlingam came to him. If you get a patent, doesn't mean aapko uske, you are sitting at home and someone would come and give you $1 million or $1 billion. No, that doesn't work that way. There are two aspects in that. First aspect, an important aspect, is your product would be licensed out. Abhi agar mera product license out karna hai, in that case, if I don't have the legal rights for that, the other party won't need the license. They would just take that product and sell that. They don't need you in that case. But in case I have a product which can be commercialized and that product is patented as well, then that party is dependent on you. This is very important. Unfortunately, kya hua hai? Generally when we think of patents, so many patents coming from the academic institutions specifically. We are very much good in terms of research, getting patents as well. But look at the trends, actually, we are least bothered about the commercialization of products. हम लोग जब thesis topic identify करते हैं, या when we actually think of any research activity, that point of time, still we are looking at what is that impact factor का journal जहाँ पे मुझे publication मिल सकता है based on this technology. Like we had a session by Dr. Mohin, and wherein he mentioned, I think, all about the oral technology, tableting technology and all. Now the industry, let me tell you, needs oral products. They are still requiring tablet, capsule, pills, granules and all. And unfortunately, we are working on the impact factors, and what we are doing, we are getting research which is, let's say, related to iontophoresis, transdermal patches, wherein the requirement is, I would say, really very minute. Or maybe we are more working on the so-called technology, highly advanced technology. When I speak to the faculties or researchers, that point of time, many of them actually complain that, sir, we don't have facilities available at our institution. That's not the right way. The industry needs oral products. That's the crux, actually. But then we have said that, got that mindset wherein we have to work only on the complex technologies, and for that, of course, infrastructure is needed. Probably you are working on a technology which may get commercialized after 25 or 50 years. Aaj us pe research karke, that may not be something which would be really fruitful. And when we think of patent, of course, if you're coming to me for filing patents, it's very nice. My business is increasing. I'm getting some business out of it. But if you're really looking forward to commercialization of your invention, it is important. It is very important that you work on those projects which have got commercial value out of it. That is very, very important actually. And that's where I believe most of us are lagging behind. It's all about numbers game, unfortunately. And for an institution like YB Institute of Pharmacy, which has been leader in terms of education as well as research, the kind of amenities we have, and with these kind of initiatives like ISC and all, I think we are well prepared for the real growth, as well as I would say to tackle those expectations that from the HEIs that new education policy has got. But then what is also important for us is the right kind of mindset as well. And I think these sessions are definitely going to help you in that context. So when we think of patents, it's a negative right, it's a monopoly right given by the government as such. And now one of the most important factor when we think of academic institutions as far as patents are, who owns the legal right? Is it an institute or is it an individual? One faculty files a patent in his or her own name. Who owns the rights? Is it the institute, or is it the just the faculty member or a researcher as such? We had a lot of cases wherein of course we don't have these things rationalized, because I'm pretty confident most of our institutions still don't have the IPR policy in place as well, intellectual property rights policy. In fact, this is one of those things which is expected from all the HEIs as such. And as an institution, we should definitely work on that. And of course, we are ready to help you for that as well. Now, when we think of IP rights, intellectual property rights, patent is just one part of it. And then beyond patents, we have design, trademark, copyright, and we also need to look into it, because designs get very easily granted. Recently we had a case which got granted in 3 months time within a cost less than 10,000 rupees. And let me tell you, there was no guide involved, just 3-4 bache the, and they came up with a mask actually, the shield, face mask kind of stuff, which got actually granted within 3 months time. So IP rights are negative rights, monopoly rights granted by government and to an inventor or assignee in case institution has a policy. And now is, I think, the right time wherein institution ke liye fees has been cut down by 80%. You need to have the IP policy in place. You need to have some kind of guidelines who can file basically. Is it the institution? Because now the fees for individuals and institution is exactly same. What is happening out is, unfortunately, if faculties are filing a patent in their own name, that data is not getting traced by the agencies to give the credit to the institution as well. I think that is also one of the important thing. We also have to disclose the invention, and that's where I think the role of a patent agent comes into play basically. Now, many of us, of course, especially the master students or researchers, they know that these are some of the criteria: novelty, non-obviousness or inventive step, and industrial applicability for getting a patent. Now, patent milne ke liye, you need to have, now we are very good at novelty, because we ensure that jo literature survey kar rahe hain, usme we have more I would say we ensure that our invention is new basically. But then there is a secondary criteria which is very stringent, and let me tell you, most of the patent get rejected because of lack of inventive step, or what we also called as a non-obviousness. And the last criteria is industrial applicability, which is generally for pharma is not an issue basically. What I'm going to cover today in my session is also very basic fundamental concepts, or the questions that have been asked again and again to me for during my all these sessions actually, wherein with respect to patent filings as well as patent grant, that entire journey basically. When should I file the patent application? So when you know that patent is giving you some value as an individual, as a professional, when should you file? If you have an idea in your mind, you can file the patent application right at this stage. Reason being that for a patent to be filed, you don't need to carry out the studies in your lab. You can do that within 1 year and file a patent application. application, because we have a system wherein we have got first to file system. The one who files first would get the rights. Why should I file patent application? I think my talk has already covered this. As far as individuals are concerned, we can have these talks these reasons, like for maybe for promotion, maybe for basically the intent is to protect your invention. But then beyond that, I think the practical reasons are for accreditation purpose or your ranking purpose. People are doing it, and they're doing it. See, it's all about numbers initially, and when we have these kind of ecosystems within our college, we would definitely have that quality coming at some later stage. But we need to have that kind of ecosystem within our institution. What data do I need to file patent application? Absolutely nothing initially, but within 1 year you have to generate some data. Now, many a times what happens, faculties or researchers, students come to us, sir, हमने बहुत data generate किया है. But it's not necessary that all their data is required for filing of a patent application. What is important is that the relevant data need to be included. So, for example, if it's a composition patent product or what we call as a formulation patent, in that case, formulation, its characterization data is required. We don't need preclinical for that. In case of drug discovery, you need a preclinical data to prove the industrial applicability as well as the characterization data as well. But if the drug category is already known for that, so for example, DPP4 inhibitors are known for antidiabetics. You don't need preclinical data for a new DPP4 inhibitor. That is all set for invention, what you are claiming basically. Shall I take help of a patent agent for filing? See, to be honest, you can file. The law doesn't require a patent agent or a lawyer to help you for I would say the patent filing. But there are reasons basically why you should take a help of patent agent. One important reason is that you are a technical expert. आप अपनी invention बहुत अच्छे से जानते हो. But patent is a techno-legal document. That legal part, patent agents know basically. Like, so I'm a M-Firm as well as a patent agent and a lawyer. So I understand that legal part as well. I'm in a position to contribute to your invention, right? This is the first reason. And second reason, on a very lighter note, is like, हमारे पेट पे मत मारिएगा patent agent का, like, so it increases our business, like, But to be honest, if you really want to take your invention from filing to grant, and beyond that for commercialization, because class, we are actually helping for commercialization as well for our clients. We're trying to identify right corporate partners. As an organization, Patlex Business Solutions or Pharma Literati is connected with MSMEs, startups. We are also connected with a lot of corporates as well. We are working with big MNCs as well. Which are coming to us, we are ensuring that if they are worth, then we can commercialize that as well. And we are pretty confident in 6 or 9 months time, we would be actually in a position to come up with first commercialization from our end as far as the so as a patent agent, of course, we have got those privileges to understand both technology as well as legal aspect. But beyond that, I would say, as an organization, we are helping for commercialization. Can I publish my research before patent filing? आप अपना public research publish नहीं कर सकते. Can you do that after? Yes, absolutely. After filing a patent, you can publish your research as well. Can I commercialize my invention after patent filing? Yes, absolutely. But before patent filing, no, it's not allowed. How much is the cost for patent filing? Officially, the cost for institution has been now at par with the individuals. So the cost has been reduced by almost 80% now. And the entire cost, I think, if someone is really interested, can get in touch with the ISC convener coordinator for this program and get my number directly. Now, can I file patent application without telling my guide? Now, ये थोड़ा सा funny लगेगा, but then I had one particular case. नासिक का student था, थी रादर, शी कॉल्ड मी अप, सर मुझे एक पेटेंट फाइल करना है बट मुझे अपने गाइड का नाम नहीं इंक्लूड करना है, कैन आई डू दैट? Actually, legally speaking, yes, she can do that because the institute doesn't have a IPR policy. आपके ex-employees, can they do that? Yes, they can do that. Doing a research at your institution, leaving the institution and filing the patent for that later, although they have used your infrastructure as such. But then how can this be avoided? This can be only avoided by having that IPR policy in place. Can someone else file patent application of my invention? Again, people are doing that actually, unfortunately, and again, there is no way you can stop it except having that intellectual property rights policy in place for the institution. The next thing that I have is a patent filing to grant. That journey, entire journey, called as prosecution. When does the patent application get published? Remember that application gets published after 18 months, and a publication doesn't give you an assurance that the patent gets granted as such. So publication of application doesn't assure you a grant. So application gets published 2 times. One as a publication application and second as a granted patent. The grant may need 3 to 4 years time generally on an average. Okay. But nowadays in expedited cases, recently we got one patent application which is granted within 3-4 months, but then the certificate would get issued within 7 or 8 months time as such. Now, what is the cost after patent filing till grant? Again, the same answer. Get in touch with me if someone is really interested. Can I commercialize the invention after grant? Yes, absolutely. Even after filing the patent, you can commercialize, but not before the filing. Would I be funsuk wangdu once I get the patent granted? Agar mujhe patent mil gaya, to would someone come? Would there be a Chatur Ramlingam sitting in US? Koi mera friend hai jisko ye patent pasand aa gaya and he would give me a lot of money. I would be a billionaire or millionaire in a minute. No, class. That's not the truth. The harsh truth is that it's not the patent, it's the technology that gets commercialized, and you need to understand what is that technology. We also have various types of IPs like design and patent, which are also called as industrial property rights. The patent is something which is for the inventions, the utility part, the way it functions. Design is something for its external outlook. Like, so for example, koi instrument banaya aapne, wo kaise dikhta hai basically. All those things are the ones which are protected under design. I think we can have a separate entire session as such as far as design is concerned. I'll just skip this slide because all these things I have already mentioned you that research paper and patent application are separate things. Basically, you don't have a legal right in a research paper. So for example, one of your faculties has got a great invention. He doesn't have the capability to commercialize it. He publishes it as a research paper. A smart businessman probably can take that and commercialize it. But if you have a patent right, no one else can do because you have the legal rights over it. Now let us focus on pharma. Pharma mein kya hota hai? What are those things which are patentable in pharmaceuticals and what are those things which are not patentable? Pharma is always under scanner as far as the patent office or the global, even the media is concerned, as far as pharma patenting is concerned, because it is always about patents versus patients. Now, when we think of Indian Patent Act, we have 4 clauses which deny the patentability to pharmaceutical inventions. 3D, which doesn't allow new form of known substance. 3E, mere admixtures, combinations are not patentable. Method of treatment under 3I, not patentable, and traditional knowledge not patentable. Now, let me segregate into different sectors now. Polymorphs specifically, or a salt, ester, derivative, those chemistry faculties or researchers working in that domain, you can't get it unless and until you have an enhancement of therapeutic efficacy. Those who are working in pharmacology or pharmacognosy, medical use, the second medical use, sir, हमारा पुराना drug वो anti-diabetic था, हम उसको anti-psychotic कर रहे हैं, can't get granted. But there is a way out if you put it in the proper format. If you have a smart attorney, then this can also be done. Mere admixture, मैंने 2 herbs लिया है, they are not known for the treatment. Both of them are individually known for treatment of diabetes, but now I'm mixing them. Mere admixture, not patentable, but if it shows synergy, then for sure it is something which is actually patentable. Traditional knowledge, not patentable, like for example, haldi or herbal products. Now, herbal product can be patentable. The curcumin per se as a product cannot be patentable, but आप curcumin का कोई product बना रहे हो which is a solid dispersion or a nanoparticulate which is enhancing its solubility, in that case it would be something which would be definitely patentable. It's not the herb, but it's end product. So for example, solid dispersion or nanoparticulate to increase its solubility, or if you prepare a product with a test masking or what you also call as which doesn't give the staining effect for the haldi or herbal, in that case it can be definitely patentable. As I said, why do patents, most of the patent gets rejected? Because of these sections, non-patentable subject matter as well as obviousness. नॉवेल्टी बनता है हम लोगों का जो इन्वेंशन है, because we do literature survey therein we have these confidence that, and to be honest, the literature survey done by all of you is usually correct and the inventions are novel, but incorrect claiming, especially in case if you are drafting your own application, that rejects your patent basically, like, you know. And non-patentable subject matter, so you need at times, if your invention is among those combinations, method of treatment, herbal, you need a smart person to draft your patent application. Let me take you one by one through all the departments that we have. Like for example, in case of pharmacology, we can have inventions like dose determination, dosage form determination, dosing regimen determination, method of administration, or method of treatment. Of course, these are patentable globally, but कुछ चीजें इंडिया में नहीं patentable होती है. But then, as I said, it all depends on two things. One, the way you draft it, and the second, who is the controller basically. In that case, how he interprets the, although the act is same, the interpretation for various things is actually different actually. Like, you know, so that's what in pharmacology. So whatever research you are doing in case of preclinical, for example, you are identifying some dose, put it in a proper shape and it may get granted basically. Pharmaceutics, I still remember जब मैं 2005 में first job मिला मुझे after doing my M from pharmaceutics, my boss told me, Vijay, Ceutics में formulation में whatever you do gets patentable, provided it has those criteria of novelty, non-obviousness, and industrial applicability, which are actually covered. वो अगर होता है तो Ceutics में हर चीज, at least India में patentable. Chemistry, new drugs, absolutely. New process, absolutely. Only problem with chemistry is that if you come up with a polymorph, or if you come up with a salt, ester, derivative, prodrug and all, it should show some therapeutic efficacy enhancement. Now this has been really very crucial. Indian patent law globally जहां पे भी discuss होता है, this one clause of section 3D is something which has been discussing again and again, and rather than discussing, it's been debated again and again actually. So that way this particular, I would say, for chemistry people, you need to ensure. But then new drug agar hai, and I would suggest, let me also recommend few what you can do as far as thesis is concerned. Pharmacology may, if you're working, try to work on new drugs rather than like, you know, older drugs basically. Major problem in case of pharmacology. If you're working on an old drugs, then try to come up with work on the drug repurposing actually. So old drugs, unconventional route, and like, you know, come up with a new indication basically. In case of Ceutics, absolutely, again, my suggestion is working on the newer molecules or newer drugs rather than just merely doing some research on nano, and stick to orals. The best advice, stick to oral dosage forms only. It works really well as far as commercialization is concerned. For chemistry people, again, like, you know, if there is a chemistry professor here, like, you know, try to work on processes rather than products. I won't recommend to work on drug discovery. Reason is very simple. None of the Indian pharma industry is in so much of long period of time has succeeded to come up with a new drug and get bad as we are moving ahead, and a lot of, I would say, the patents are just lapsing because like invent novelty inventive, let's say patent grant ho raha hai, but where is the value? None of them have succeeded. Rather than that, I would prefer you working on processes for preparing a new drug. What new drugs? I'll tell you, there are few drugs wherein all these industries are not in a position to come up with new processes, good processes, economical processes, change. And let me tell you, for chemistry people specifically, because this is that one part which has always been neglected as far as the academics is concerned, academic research is concerned. I'll tell you something. The recent policy shift in government of India's policy with respect to the chemicals and fertilizers and pharmaceuticals has provided a lot of opportunities for pharmaceutical chemistry people. Key intermediates, starting materials, KSMs. Now there is a huge kind of burden on those who are importing. So this industry is going to work really well in near future as such. So you have a lot of opportunities, faculties and students, if you are doing research in chemistry, work on new molecules, work on processes, just forget about those so-called new drugs. I mean, if you really have the passion, you can do, but then just for your information, the required timeline may be really very high for getting commercialized at all, if at all. But then it is very essential that, because in case of processes, probably your product can get commercialized in a year or two. Anyone would be willing to buy if you really have cut down the cost for that actually. Pharmacognosy, again, neglected area. Herbals are patentable. There are a lot of misconceptions. Herbal inventions are patentable. Look at this actually. We have a lot of examples. Herbal inventions mein jo patentable hai. Now look at this. We say method of treatment is not patentable. Look at this. Herbal composition for treatment of epilepsy. It is already known actually. Then what we have got, but then patent is granted. Herbal patents grant hote hai, treatment patents bhi grant hote. You need to put it, and even you see the combination: curcuma longa, Lasius spinosa, and Costus speciosus. All these are granted basically. Now, look at this. Another. Hello. Yeah, we have another example here wherein in the form of a composition it is patentable. Third example, herbal oil. Now instead of coming up with a herbal product, herbal herb per se, come up with a finished dosage form, and that is definitely patentable as such. So when we think of all these so-called departments or inventions wherein we are actually walking into, that point of time, I would say very essential for all of us to understand that the kind of legislation we have, or the kind of law we have in terms of patents for your research can be granted. What we need is right kind of mindset, and we also should, as a ISC policy, or I would say as an institution, we also should also encourage getting the products more commercialized, just rather than filing a patent and getting it granted just for the numbers sake. I think with this simple message, I would like to conclude it here. To be honest, I would like to thank the institution, the management, honorable principal sir, the faculty members, all you students, for giving me this opportunity to be part of this impact lecture series as such. Unfortunately, I have another assignment. I told to Furkan sir actually, about it. I have another assignment for which I have to rush, but then I would be more than happy if at all you have any questions. I can take a couple of questions actually. And also just one request: in the chat box, I have messaged you a particular link for a YouTube channel. That's our YouTube channel. And you have a lot of sessions, like career opportunity session. If possible, class, you can just go through the YouTube channel. If possible, subscribe to it as well. And thank you so much, everyone. Again, it's pleasure to be with you. I would very soon hope to see all of you at your institution, and hope that everyone as of now is staying home and is safe actually. Over to you, Furkan sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vijay sir, for an excellent session on the importance of IPR in pharmacy. So, dear participants, now the session is open for question and answer. If any questions are there,
Hello. Yes, sir, I'm Dr. Lam.
Excuse me, sir. I would like to ask a question that if someone needs to file a patent, does he or she need to share the complete patent detail with a patent agent?
Yes, absolutely. You can share it, but before that, you can actually sign the so-called confidentiality disclosure or non-disclosure agreement as well. So you have to believe you are patent agent first of all. And to be honest, since I'm associated with the institution and not only YB Chauhan College of Pharmacy, we are associated with at least 40 pharmacy colleges. All inventions are coming to us, and we are professionally dealing it. Actually, you have to share the invention under CDA so that I can actually I cannot file on my name, or I won't share it with anyone else. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, I, Dr. Mirza Shahid Beg. First
Yes,
of
sir.
all, I thank you, sir, for your wonderful lecture, and many things get cleared to us. And I want to ask some, means one query is there regarding the patent filing on the name of applicant or institute. So that is, I am confused about it because applicant is affiliated to institute. So, what is the requirement, sir? Where to file the patent on applicant name or institute name?
Sir, applicant institute ही रहेगा, but institute cannot file without you, sir. Credit हमेशा आपके पास ही रहेगा as a individual. But like जब आप अभी तक क्या हो रहा था सर, फीस कम था इंडिविजुअल्स के लिए, तो सब लोग इंडिविजुअल्स करके फाइल करते थे एंड इंस्टीट्यूट का नाम वहां पे नहीं आता था. बट नाउ द फीस हैज बीन चेंज टू अ लेवल की इंस्टीट्यूट का और इंडिविजुअल्स का फीस सेम है. तो इंस्टीट्यूट वाईबी चौहान कॉलेज ऑफ फार्मेसी कैन फाइल द पेटेंट, बट देन नाम हमेशा इन्वेंटर करके आपको ही रहेगा, एक्सेस या उसका क्रेडिट आपको ही रहेगा, लीगल राइट्स इंस्टीट्यूशन के पास रहेंगे. बट दैट्स व्हाट बिग सर व्हाट आई मेंशन कि हमें आईपी पॉलिसी इन प्लेस करना चाहिए एट अ इंस्टीट्यूट, एंड दैट आईपी पॉलिसी वुड हेल्प यू सॉर्ट ऑल दीज क्वेश्चंस एज वेल एज in the long run it would help you have a lot of other advantages, maybe in terms of, so you can either have IP policy or innovation policy basically at the institution under IIC cell. So that would clear all these doubts. So it's a very, I would say, broader topic, and I think we can take it in a separate session if required for the faculties, researchers, and the master students. Make sense, sir? Big sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Mr. Shivpuje, Dr. Abu Bakar here.
Sir, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. My question is, I am going for the commercialization of a gel formulation, which was been patented last year in November, and I am been in tie-up with the herbal company. I am going for production of that gel formulation. So there is some legal aspects of that, or we have to go directly without going for any legal process of preparing an MOU with the company and college, or directly I can go for the production?
Sir, if you are producing on your own, YB Chauhan College of Pharmacy करके कर रहे हो, तो there is no formality required. If you are giving it to outside third party company को दे रहे हो, you need to properly have a MOU, confidential disclosure agreement, as well as IPR licensing agreement. मतलब इसका लाइसेंस आप दे रहे हो, मतलब क्या है, राइट्स आपके पास है. सिंपली सर, घर मेरा है, आपको रेंट पे दे रहा हूं मैं, राइट? रेंट एग्रीमेंट जैसे होता है ना, वैसे लाइसेंसिंग एग्रीमेंट करेंगे सर.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
I think no more questions are there. See, the feedback and e-assessment link is posted in the chat box as well as in the WhatsApp group also. So you need to fill the feedback form and e-assessment form to get the certificates.
One more thing, Furkan sir.
Yes, sir.
I just want to apologize to Mr. Shivpuje that we can't change the timing because it has been published and it has been circulated all over. So it's very difficult for us to change the timing and the session. So you have
No,
to
sir.
adjust
I
it.
think
And
yeah.
we
No, sir,
we have
that's understandable. Only thing is, like what happened is the other assignment that I got is about to get started in next 3-4 minutes, and that's the reason
yeah.
I told Furkan sir, I'll manage it. I'll manage it for sure. And sir, to be honest, I look forward to have more sessions with you as an institution. कभी भी
Yes,
आपको
yes.
कुछ भी चाहिए, like you know, and very specific topics. Maybe we are working with few institution about how to increase your NIRF ranking as well. How is it working as well? And we are doing it all free of cost, sir. We are not charging anything specifically. We would be more than happy to discuss with you
So
again.
you can be in contact with Dr. S.R. Lahoti. Then we'll discuss and we'll have a one session of NIRF also. And one more thing
Absolutely, sir.
that if you have told us day before yesterday, we should have done it. But when we have circulated all the flyers as well as the link and everything, so it's become very difficult for us to change in within the 24 hours. So if you
Right,
have
sir.
told
But
us,
then, yeah, absolutely. I can understand. I think there should not be any issues. I hope I
yeah,
did justice to the topic given to me within the
yeah,
specified time.
yeah, you have done the justice, but just from my side as a in charge principal, I should convey this to you that this is just the technical issue for which we can't change the session.
No, no, sir.
Once
Absolutely
again,
no issues. No worries.
from
Yeah.
on behalf of management and on behalf of chairman and all the trustees and from all the teaching and non-teaching staff of Ivy Chauhan College of Pharmacy, I like to thank you for your precious time and the knowledge which you have shared with our staff as well as with our students. That is tremendous, very helpful for us to go for the future endeavors. Thank you once again, Mr.
Thank you, sir.
Shivpuri.
And bye,
Over,
everyone. Take care.
yeah, over
Sir,
to you, Furkan sir.
So at the conclusion of this first session of Impact Lecture Series, so see, my request is to all the participants, don't leave this WhatsApp group because we are going to organize second session of Impact Lecture Series also. Okay, so on behalf of Institutions Innovation Council, Ivy Chauhan College of Pharmacy, I would like to express my gratitude to all the esteemed delegates of the webinar for their presence and contribution to make this webinar a grand success. I extend my gratitude to our management, Principal Dr. Abubakar Bawazir, Vice Principal Dr. Santosh Mokre, IQAC in charge Dr. Degan sir, NIRF coordinator Dr. Lahoti sir, IPR activity in charge Dr. Samshetty sir, ICT committee members Dr. Ismail Mozam, Mr. Altamash Ansari, and all staff members to make this event a grand success. A special thanks to the principal, Dr. Satish Jairam and Mr. Syed Zakir of Institute of Hotel Management for providing IT support for the webinar. And lastly, looking forward for the second session of Impact Lecture Series that will be conducted probably after 10 days. So don't leave the WhatsApp group for the second session. Thank you everyone once again for making it a grand success. Thank you all. Zakir sir.
excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Can I ask one question, Vijay Shivpuje sir?
If he is there, Shifuji sir, you are there. No, I think he has left.
Okay, sir.
Don't worry, we have to arrange one more session with Shifuji sir. So at that time you can ask your
Okay, sir.
question.
Okay, sir.
Zakir sir,
Thank you, sir.
we can end this session.
जाकिर सर नहीं है, बोलिए सर. हेलो. हेलो.
हेलो.
हाँ सर, जाकिर सर नहीं है, बोलिए.
हाँ, एंड कर session.
अच्छा, लीव कर दो नहीं.
Yes, yes.
ओके सर, जाकिर सर उधर गए सोसाइटी ऑफिस में ब्रिगेडियर खान के पास.
Okay, okay,
ठीक है, लीव कर देता हूँ.
okay.
बाय.